where the Indiana Fever announced that RG3 was saying that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark or other. How about a Vince Carter? How about a Kobe Bryant? And they didn't want to do that. And I'm not talking about players and just players. Talk about announcers too. Talk about pundits as well. Became the first rookie with at least 20 timeline, and Indiana led all teams with 19% from the year earlier. 319%. 319%. I'm not saying I know for sure what's going to happen, but I have an idea. We shall see.
Stephen A. Smith opens with the actual news. The Fever announced Caitlin Clark will be out at least 2 weeks with a left quad strain, diagnosed after an MRI following pain she reported in a loss to the Liberty. That's the real headline everything else in this segment builds off of, and it's worth grounding the whole conversation in that before it goes anywhere else.
Digit percentages. So let's not forget that. But they didn't grow by 319%. That was Caitlin Clark, which means she's largely responsible for the overall league attendance records. Merchandise sales were also up 450% for the WNBA, according to Fanatics, and Clark was the top-selling player and is fifth among athletes across all sports. Fanatics also reported a 100% increase in sales for WNBA-specific merchandise. It started with Caitlin Clark.
Somebody tweeted him directly asking whether the WNBA can keep itself afloat while Clark's out, and his answer is a clean yes. He name-checks Aja Wilson and Brianna Stewart specifically, giving real credit to the talent this league has independent of Clark. That's an important starting point before he pivots into the more pointed part of this take.
Where the Indiana Fever announced that star Caitlin Clark will be out at least 2 weeks with a left quad strain. Clark reported some pain in her leg Saturday after the team's loss to the New York Liberty. She subsequently underwent an MRI and was diagnosed with the strain on Monday. Clark was the
He's careful here, in a way that matters, explicitly saying he's not going to claim other players hate Clark the way RG3 suggested about Angel Reese. But he draws a real distinction. He thinks the resentment, where it exists, isn't about Clark as a person, it's about what she represents. That's a more careful framing than a lot of this discourse gets credit for.
It's an accident. Thanks to Clark, Indiana led the league in attendance both at home and on the road. The Fever averaged 17,035 fans at home and over 15,000 on the road. 4 teams moved home games to bigger arenas when Indiana came to town to accommodate more fans. That's about Caitlin Clark. How do we know this? Attendance for the entire league was up nearly 50% last year, according to data from across the timeline, and Indiana led all teams with an average attendance of 17,035. That was up.
And he backs up why she's earned the attention with real numbers. All-Star as a rookie, 4th in MVP voting, the unanimous Rookie of the Year. Those are actual confirmed 2024 accolades, not exaggeration.
Now put this tweet up, please, so our audience can see it here. At 4th Gen Bucci, B-U-C-C-I, right, Stephen A. Smith. Can the WNBA keep itself afloat while CC, as in Caitlin Clark, is out? End quote. My answer would be yes. I'm not going to summarily dismiss the WNBA, its growing popularity, some of the athletes that they have in there. I mean, Aja Wilson, come on now. I mean, it really starts with her. We all know what she brings to the table. Brianna Stewart and others, we see what this league has available to itself and what it's maintained. We get that part. But I'm not going to ignore.
Here's the part of this take that's going to generate the most discussion. He's saying some players resented watching this young white girl take the league by storm and get credit for chartered flights and rating spikes that, in his framing, those players feel they'd already earned through years of work before she arrived. That's Smith's own characterization of a sentiment he's attributing to unnamed others, not a claim he's making about any specific named player.
Of the world, the Akeem Olajuwons of the world, the Charles Barkleys of the world, not necessarily in that order, of course, because he came before all of those guys that I mentioned. How about a Vince Carter? How about a Kobe Bryant? It didn't stop him. The fact of the matter is that it has to start somewhere. And if it starts somewhere, A rising tide lifts all boats. You jump on that tide, you jump on that boat and elevate and use them to elevate your play or to elevate the attention you garner. It's very simple, but people didn't want to do that. There was a lot of people that didn't want to do that. Let's call it what it is. I ain't gonna mention no name.
His actual conclusion matters here. The resentment is understandable, but it's not about Caitlin Clark, it's about what she represents. That's a meaningfully different claim than saying players hate her personally, and it's worth holding on to that distinction as the conversation continues.
My point is, grow up. Who cares? If you're Magic and Bird, that didn't stop Jordan from coming along and doing what he did. Over the years that followed, it didn't stop the Vince Carters of the world, the Allen Iversons of the world, the Shaq Diesel, Shaquille O'Neals of the world, the Hakeem Olajuwon.
The Jordan comparison is the crux of his argument. Magic and Bird didn't stop Jordan's rise, and it didn't stop Vince Carter, Iverson, Shaq, Kobe, or anyone else who came after. A rising tide lifts all boats is Smith's actual, repeated thesis across multiple appearances this year, and it's the same argument he's made in other interviews about Clark's impact on the league's business.
Attendance for the entire league was up nearly 50% last year. According to data from across the timeline, and Indiana led all teams with an average attendance of 17,035. That was up 319% from the year earlier. 319%. 319%. All other teams still grew by double-digit percentages. So let's not forget that. But they didn't grow by 319%. That was Caitlin Clark, which means she's largely responsible for the overall league attendance.
He extends the critique beyond players specifically, calling out announcers and pundits too, without naming names, for not giving Clark her shine. That's a broader media industry critique layered on top of the player resentment argument, and it's worth treating as a separate claim from the locker room dynamics point.
As in Caitlin Clark is out, end quote. My answer would be yes. I'm not going to summarily dismiss the WNBA, its growing popularity, some of the athletes that they have in there. I mean, Asia Wilson, come on now. I mean, it really starts with her. We all know what she brings to the table. Brown and Stewart and others, we see what this league has available to itself and what it's maintained. We get that part. But
back to confirmed numbers. Clark became the first rookie in WNBA history with at least 25 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds in a playoff game, and just the 4th rookie ever to play all 40 minutes in a playoff game. Those are real, checkable rookie season records.
Instead, they resented it because they said, yo, we were doing stuff long before Caitlin Clark got here. And y'all wasn't paying attention then. But now the young white girl comes along and y'all want to sit up there and shower all of this praise and all of this attention that was earned before she ever came along. The resentment is understandable, but it's not about Caitlin Clark. It's about what
6 different WNBA television partners set viewership records in her rookie season, and every single one of those record-setting broadcasts involved the Indiana Fever. That's not a coincidence Smith's inventing. It's a well-documented pattern from the league's own 2024 season recap.
Do that. Let's call it what it is. I ain't gonna mention no names, but y'all know who they are, and they didn't want to do that. And I'm not talking about players and just players. Talk about announcers too. Talk about pundits as well. There's a whole bunch of people that didn't want to give Caitlin Clark her shine. But let me go over some of these numbers just to remind y'all of what this young sister brought to the table.
The attendance numbers are exactly right too. Indiana averaged 17,035 fans at home, a 319% increase over the previous season, the largest jump of any team in a league where every single team grew by double digits. 4 teams moved games to bigger arenas specifically when Indiana came to town. All of that is independently confirmed by Forbes, the WNBA's own season recap, and multiple other outlets.
And y'all wasn't paying attention then. But now the young white girl comes along and y'all want to sit up there and shower all of this praise and all of this attention that was earned before she ever came along. The resentment is understandable, but it's not about Caitlin Clark. It's about what she represents. My point is, grow up. Who cares? If you're Magic and Bird, that didn't stop Jordan.
And the merchandise numbers close this out. WNBA merchandise sales up sharply league-wide, with Clark as the top-selling player and fifth among all athletes across every sport according to Fanatics. Whatever you think of the resentment argument, the actual business case Smith is making here is fully real and well documented.
NBA's Rookie of the Year last season and a first-team All-WNBA selection. So far, she's averaging 19 points and a league-leading 9.3 assists through 4 games this season. I could give a damn about that last part. I don't care about her leading the league in assists. I don't care about the points that she's averaging because I already know that the young lady can ball. She is special. What I'm interested in is what somebody tweeted me and asked about earlier today that I want to show you right now. Put this tweet up, please, so our audience can see it here. At 4th Gen Bucci, B-U-C-C-I, right?